Broc here at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where we're getting ready for round 14 of the Monster Energy AMA Supercross. But more importantly, we're getting ready to film the Dunlop Motorcycle Tires track walk. And I've got special co-host Max Anstey, all the way from England originally, but spent a lot of time in the US, and currently sitting in third place right now in the 250 SX East Series.
Yep, no, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. First time here. Awesome stadium so far, and we get to go and check it out right now.
Yeah, New Jersey's been on the schedule just sporadically over the years. I mean, they had the first Supercrosses way back when in the Meadowlands Stadium in the 80s, and then kind of off and on, and then once they built beautiful MetLife Stadium here, we've come back here, and this will be another round here. Past winners, we've got everybody from Ryan Villapoto won the inaugural race, and then you had Eli Tomac win it on a Honda, so it wasn't even on the Cowie or the Yamaha. And then we've had other riders come through too. Dungy's won here, but our last winner, 2019, when we were last in this stadium, was Cooper Webb. So that's got to feel good for Cooper Webb. But on the flip side of that, the very first Supercross race that Chase Sexton ever won on a 250, he also won that same year in the 250 class that Cooper won the 450. So it's going to have an interesting feeling with that championship being so close in the 450 class. Yeah,
definitely, and the track is very tight. I mean, it looks tight. So I think that sort of plays, I would say, into Cooper's hand. Like I mean, last year I got to train with him a little bit at 83 compound. And man, like he was so good at cutting down on all the turns. I mean, you guys already know that, but it's I'm telling you what you already know. But he was so good at doing that sort of stuff. And if these whoops become jumpers, which it's weird that the ground right now is like hard and dry on top, but underneath it's a bit rutty. So like it feels soft. So I feel like they're going to get chewed out. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But I think, yeah, it could tighten the whole thing up again even more this weekend. You know how it is, each week something different.
Well, the track is 1,887 feet, so 1887. That's a little on the short side. We see a lot of 2,000 footers. Last week's was a complete anomaly, 3,900 feet. So on paper last week, that should have been Eli Tomac's baby. Fast, long track. Cooper Webb, the guy that everybody knows as being really good, as you mentioned, in the tight track, and it didn't pan out quite that well. And then those guys finishing 4th and 5th gave Chase Sexton a chance to close, and I think he's only 17 points behind. So this championship's tight, and we talk about the dirt here as we're going down this long straightaway right here. Here in this corner, it's about 225 feet to the first corner. We'll try not to have to fight the water truck here because we're going to film this on Friday evening. This race is also the first one of the Supercross showdowns. We have an East-West showdown, which has been a 100% the Lawrence brothers. I'm sorry to say that, you obviously know. Each one of them have won all their rounds except for one. And the first time we get to see them race together and against each other of this year. So it's going to be very exciting. Again, the start is nice and wide, comes into a sweeping 180. We talk about this dirt, and if we can get if you can go in a little tight on the dirt here, it's real pebbly. It kind of reminds me a little bit of loose. Seattle.
You can wash your front out on this. Definitely.
So with Supercross suspension being so stiff and you're really trying to push it.
So this is going to be important to, if you're too tight around the inside, you're going to have to roll this. Whereas if you push hard in, you're going to be able to come out and double and get a good drive through this rhythm on the first lap. So going to be interesting to see how this first turn. You know how it is, East-West showdown. There are going to be a few guys laid out over there somewhere, and definitely the guys are going to be bumping and banging in this 250 class. So it's definitely going to be a good race. And like you said, Jet and Hunter have been riding great. It's a shame that I'm racing. I'd like to watch. You know, you never know. I might have a front row seat for it. So
I hope not. So you got to get in there in the championship. You've had some great rounds. You started off with a second place at round 1 in Houston. Then you had another second place at Daytona. And even though you're from England, you're a phenomenal mud rider, but damn, you're good in the sand too. I've seen you run with the best and win races in MXGP in the Premier MX1 class, you know, and in the MXGP 450s, and turn around and beat the best riders in the world at a track like Lommel. So where the heck did you learn to ride the sand so well?
It's always a conversation. People people think, oh, Max has come over from Europe to race in America. Maybe this guy would be good at it, or maybe that guy would be good at it. There's very few people that can make the transition from MXGP and from Europe to the States. And the biggest thing about my upbringing, we're gonna get wet.
No, that's why I'm stalling. I'm trying to give the track guys some time to watch.
The biggest thing about my upbringing was my dad would have me ride Supercross Monday to Friday. I'd finish school on a Friday and go to Holland and ride sand Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and race in the Dutch Championship over there. So wow. I would only ride sand or Supercross. And the Supercross was, again, my dad used to build me the tracks when I was on 85s and 65s. Like it was obviously not like this, but it was all skills, safety skills, jumps, brake tapping, being precise. Like we played games of like doing doubles and seeing how high you could get and precise. It was never, I never did motos. I never did lap times or motos until I was 18 years old.
Wow.
Literally
so
all I did was...
Let's talk about your dad real quick. Max, you grew up in a racing family.
Yep.
And we can talk more about the one day that I remember so vividly in your life. That was your magical day. You've had a bunch of great days racing, but your magical day at Matterley Basin in 2017.
Yep.
But your father, Mervyn, he raced MXGPs for many, many years. So he was around motocross, and I know from the time you were born, you had to have been around some of the top racers in the world, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those where I can never remember a time without riding dirt bikes, and it's been my entire life, and of course you learn and grow, and I'm a little older now, and of course, like this is still primarily my first real season of Supercross in the 250. I mean, 2010 I had a go at it, but I was 16. It's been a long time, and now, but still just the knowledge that you take from those years and years. You know, it all comes together for this, and no, I'm super excited to be here, and I love it, and to be honest, it's all learning. Everything in life is preparation for the future, and I feel like I might wash out doing that, so I might go down this way.
Come on down. So, those people who've watched many of our track walks or the Dunlop motorcycle tires
we are
track
getting
walks,
soaked.
They realize that we have, or I usually try really, really hard to have some local ties. So let's talk about local ties for you.
Mate, you see.
What is New Jersey local ties for you? When you first came pro here, a little known secret is you actually raced for Jason Lawrence's team on KTMs. With Nick Way was one of your teammates. And Jason Lawrence is here from the New Jersey area. So there's our local ties for this one, for those of you watching wondering what
2009 I was just turned 16, and I was an amateur rider in the beginning of the year, and Jimmy Button actually called me up and said, Max, they're changing the rules from, if you don't turn pro now at 16, you've got to wait in 2 more years, and it messed up my deals. And my dad was like, yeah, let's go pro, let's just go racing, and that was that. We ended up lining up at Glen Helen for round 1 of outdoors in 2009, and man, J-Law was my first boss. That was definitely an experience, but to me, he was a really nice guy, and Nick Way was really good too. And
hey, he won a Supercross 250 championship, so you got to give him credit.
Yeah, it's crazy how it goes.
So coming out of the corner, we saw a combination of things. When you mentioned during track, we had futures on the track, so we have Supercross futures, we have the East-West showdown here, and then we also have a championship in the 450. So a busy week, a busy schedule. I mean, for this race.
There's a big rhythm through here.
Yes,
did the futures? I didn't watch the futures. I don't know if you got to watch them, but I think they could have got the 3 and then this quad and then triple into the turn. That was pretty big.
The one thing, we're going to try to go up this thing. Derek, stay on your feet.
I'm going to use your...
Last week, poor Derek had to go.
Use your traction.
He had to do the track. He had to do the track last week, and it was so muddy. But coming through here, you're on-off. You also have the table that you can use, but I also saw Eli Tomac, and Derek, you can turn around and see where they're watering right there. I did see Eli hit the big one and completely downside. So what they call a quad, because they count the front side of the table as as a 3, the back side would be the 4. So he was downsiding it. Barsha was doing that too.
There's a few rocks. There's a few rocks in here. You got to, like, you don't really see it when you're riding, obviously, but being, I don't know, now walking, it's like, okay, we got to pay attention to that. You don't want to be in a rut and just hit a rock and kick you sideways.
So coming off of that table was one option, jumping over this one and then tripling into the corner. There was also guys downsiding, as I talked about, on the tabletop, and then at that point you could either clear the big tall here, because when you got the different rhythms, we talk about the 3.4s or the 3.5s, most of the 450 guys particularly, they want to get over the top of that. They don't want to be launching off the tall.
The thing is as well, like there's no big berm at the end of here, so you don't want to come in with too much speed.
Yep. I'm going around, Max. You can slip and fall if you want.
Me too.
Okay. So, coming around the track here, coming into this corner here, right near the podium, as you mentioned here, if we can see, Derek, there's really no big berm to bank off of. You got a strong 90-degree corner here, but it's pretty flat.
Yeah, and you're coming in with a lot of speed. If you three into this, it's hard to stop even for this. Like, there's not much space at all. So
not much.
You're not going to be able to triple and get to the inside, let's say.
Okay.
You're going to have to either double, single inside, but then this is going to get rutted out.
Yep, and a lot of the guys were coming, as we talked about, downsiding. The ones that I saw, like Barshan, when they quadded the back side of the table, they were tripling over the top of the tall 5-footer and then singling into here. And then this was a pretty basic shot here for any of the 250s or any of the riders, just to get this as you head back across the starting line here. So,
let's talk tires. So on a track like this, some ruts, I would say it's a 110 type of track, like some of the guys that go to 110. But Marty, my team manager, was like, I think you could go to a 120. I'm like, well, it doesn't seem that hard packed around here to go for that. But I know from experience in the 450 class, there's certain guys go with a 250 tire, which is the 110 to make it a little easier in the rut. Some guys go with the 120. Majority of the 250 guys only run the 110, but sometimes when it gets hard packed, you'll go to the 120. So
now stop being so cerebral, but you know what, Max, you're on to something, because this year there's been a bigger trend of the contenders, the 450 guys, going to 110 tires, and it has happened a lot more, especially when you talk about a track like this that's really tight. You need to be able to turn the bike quickly. So that being said, the 110 does have a little less footprint on the ground. It's easier for the guys.
A little more
agile.
agile.
Yes, it is. And so the riders who want to make a real quick turn or hit an inside rut, that is right. The 110 tends to be a little, so we're seeing more of that. And especially as the teams get better and better with managing the power output of those big 450s.
Making it smoother.
They make it smoother. So the more linear power delivery, they can do it electronically with fuel injection, whatever they need to map, whatever they're doing, they need to get the bike to be smooth. They can get away with running a little less tire because they don't have such violent hits. So great call on that.
That's it's crazy how the
Hey, speaking of this, sorry to interrupt you here.
That's all right.
We got Alex Gillespie, and I'm going to actually pull my mic down so hopefully you can get. Alex, you basically run Dirtworks. You're the man in charge of this whole crew. And tell us a little bit about the MetLife East Rutherford dirt here. And it does seem a little pebbly and a little rocky. So
it's definitely a New Jersey dirt. I mean, we're in the Northeast. There's rocks pretty much everywhere. But this dirt has been screened. It was a long time ago when we first got it. But from the pile and over the years coming here, seems like it's getting a little rockier and rockier. But I do believe this is on the radar for us to get new material here, hopefully in the future. But I wouldn't say it's terrible, but it's definitely pebbly.
So let me ask you this. We haven't raced here since 2019. Pandemic happened. Where has this dirt been for the last 4 years?
It's like 2 miles off-site off, I can't think of the name of the road. It's really close. You can drive a loader there. So it's really close. You know, it helps trucking be cheaper. But it came in a little on the west side. I think it's going to be like Seattle.
Oh, okay. Well, that wasn't so bad. It was a little, I mean, Seattle's weather didn't cooperate. I think our weather forecast is great all the way through to the end of tomorrow evening. I think you guys maybe get a little moisture as you're trying to tear out. But tell me also, the Dirtworks crew, talking about that, we've all been looking at, you know, as the teams tend to look way ahead at weather forecasts, and we look and see, okay, now what's Nashville going to be like? So as soon as we get that 7-day window, we start looking, and Nashville looks like they've got some weather coming in there too. So your team has to tear this track out in record speed, jump on planes as fast as you can get to Nashville. And I heard you're going to try to build Nashville as soon as possible and then cover it. Is that the plan?
Yeah, so for MetLife, it looks like we have weather hitting basically right when it's gate drop at like 5 o'clock. And then it's going to go all throughout the night. And I think it's going to stop raining at like 6 a.m. the last I looked on Sunday. So pretty much right when move out starts, we're getting plummeted with rain. So if we can get the material out of here at a reasonable time by Sunday night, I'm going to get in my van, start driving, hit a hotel, drive the rest of the way on Monday. And then we already have an expedited plan for Nashville. Plywood, the flooring going down early, trying to get equipment there sooner. Trying to find guys to help push out the floor. So when we get there already is a dirt floor down and some dirt piled up in the middle so we can get right to work. The original plan was when we get there, there's going to be no dirt in the building and we were going to push out over plywood. So basically going to get us a half a day plus head start to beat the weather.
So you have to be a weatherman, you have to be everything. So speaking of that, because of thinking there was going to be a little weather here, we talked about, you and I spoke earlier about the whoops that you did. These are, by this year's standards, are a little bit tamer than normal, and that's because you were expecting some weather, right?
Yeah, when we were building this track, when it was time to throw in the whoop pad, all the material that was in the building was pretty wet. So there's no point in building tall, super challenging whoops when you know they're so soft all the way through. So we, tamed them down, and plus it's gonna rain. So yeah, it's still gonna be challenging and ruddy, that's for sure.
Well, Alex, thank you for your time, and we get to hear it, I don't want to say from the horse's mouth, but you guys are the ones running the equipment, putting the dirt in, doing all the building, and so we really appreciate your input on it, because this is the Dunlop Motorcycle Tires Track Walk, and you guys built the track, so you know more than all of us put together. So thanks, Alex. Have a great night. Okay, bye-bye. So talking about happy that the series is sponsored by Monster Energy, these guys run on no sleep. I think once the series is over, they probably spend the next 2 months sleeping and trying to catch up.
I follow a couple of them on Instagram, and literally, like, they're from one stadium to the next, just wide open.
Incredible. So let's talk about this right here, Derek. Can you get a little shot of this? So Max, you're down here at this level right here. If you want to stand here, I'll go up onto the top level, and we can talk about the track there. But this is, an elevated inside-out turn. So this little section right here got broken away pretty much during the press day and during the futures practice. I think half of that was torn away by Eli Tomac's 450 Yamaha, because he was pounding this section right here.
Yeah, he was.
And then the other riders, a lot were taking the outside. But what's kind of cool here is it comes off, and some of the riders are hitting this outside. They're jumping on top of the tabletop, if you can get a view of that there, Derek. Ugh. So, but what Tomac was doing that I didn't see anyone else really doing it was hitting that outside, launching off of this very steep face table, and then he was clearing the jump out here. So it was really tripling right out of the corner, which was pretty sick looking. And then at that point he was tripling.
And then he was really sitting into that next one.
And then getting a single into the other corner. Most other riders, if you want to rotate back, we're hitting the outside berm. There's a little knob on the outside there, clipping on top of this. This was a no-brainer carrying the next one. And then they were also tripling and singling. A few guys were doubling and then tripling from the high into the corner. That seemed to be the run for the futures guys. More of a double and then a triple. So another great option lane, the one that we were getting completely smoked with the water. The water,
they're still watering it.
But basically they're still pouring water on it. So the point of it is, they have two great lanes right parallel to each other that are excellent for mixing up the options, as the track could possibly get a few ruts in it. And who knows, with what Alex was explaining to us, that the weather forecast seems to be changing a little bit. Originally, when I saw the weather forecast, it said that the weather was going to hold off towards the end. Now they're talking about tonight. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're talking. Excuse me, not tonight. Tomorrow, right during the race. So.
Oh, beautiful! Oh, it'd be amazing if it does do that.
I know. Max Anstey, the man born and raised in England, he would love mud.
I don't know. It's one of those where you've got to be lucky. It's but it would definitely spice things up a little bit. Like it's tough. A mud race is always. You've got to be lucky. You
great equalizer.
You could go down the first turn and that's it. You're done. Or your clutch could overheat and your bike's done. But it just, I don't know. I haven't seen a mudder in American Supercross for years. And when I was 7, 8 years old, I came to Anaheim 1 back. Oh, Ricky Carmichael it was that muddy. He went backwards on the track and then fell off again, going Like it was so. I think Kevin Windham won that night.
Yeah, Kevin Windham was one of our.
I don't know what year it was, but
Kevin was one of our finest mud riders. I saw him win Seattle. I saw him. If it rained in the Supercross, he was the man. So here we talked about the different combinations. Big 180 bull corner coming right into those whoops that we talked to Alex earlier about. Again,
he said they made them a little more mellow. So I feel like
yes.
I feel like these look pretty basic. Like you're just gonna pin it right now, but if these get chewed up, they're gonna turn into jumpers. You're just gonna 3, 3, 2, and that's gonna be it. I think
there's 10 whoops if you counted the pre-whoop. Again, didn't want to make them crazy because they knew the dirt was going to break up. The nature of this dirt itself has a lot of stones in it, and from there, on top of that, you know, if they get weather,
exactly. It'll be fun. Yep. I tell you what, then, do you guys have a scoop in your truck ready for me?
A scoop, yeah, the MX-14 scoop paddle tire. Yep.
I tell you what, I might be sticking that bad boy on for the main event if she's really muddy. That
could be it, huh?
That thing gets you off the gate, and when it's deep, and it surprises me so much how the guys in MXGP, they run that sand tire
all the time
on tracks that you think it's not possible. It's rock hard, but they do it purely for the start and they make it work.
So right here, speaking of starting line, we already see it. The gate's there. And then we come out of this corner right here at the end of the whoops. Depending on how you get through that last whoop, if your bike's kicking or if it's back on the ground, you've got almost a complete 180 here, but a berm's only good for 90. So
this is going to be a bam bam. This is going to be a bam bam. Let's hit some people in this turn. This is going to be inside, outside are coming together. Right there, this is going to be a pass line. If you get alongside someone, there's nothing they can do. And
this is a reverse of what we kind of saw at Tampa, if you remember. Tampa had the sand on that side coming this way, and there was a lot of passing, including Hunter Lawrence making a pass on the last lap there. So this type of corners, to me, help the racing. It's a lot of fun. And again, we have almost a 180 corner with only a 90-degree turn berm. So it's pretty cool. So you're heading fast down here. They're kind of putting a little light fluff on the track here.
This is like the only place that you can breathe.
Yep.
Really, this is.
Speaking of breathing.
Try and breathe.
So it's pretty interesting that some of the top riders this year, I think someone told me a stat that 30-some riders have made points or something in the 450 class.
Right.
And like half of them are fathers, like 16 of them are fathers.
Yep.
You're a new dad. I know you're pushing like the 30 years old now, so you're not that young. And I see you have a cold. So.
I'm 30 next week, but I've got a cold from the little guy, I know.
Welcome to parenting, right? Those kids seem to, for some reason, just be able to pass on a cold. So hopefully it doesn't bother you too much for your racing.
Dean Wilson, my teammate, turned around and told me he's had his best results when he's had a cold.
Oh, there you go.
So it's, we might be on for a good one, you never know, so.
Can you make it, Derek? It's pretty good.
It's tacky. This is good. You'll be good up here.
All right. So finish line jump. Your kind of routine 60-some footer.
Exactly.
Here.
But this got pretty rutted. So you've got to. Guys were cutting down so much. We were hitting it basically off here earlier. This got really deep.
Rutted.
So it's tricky. It's not going to be easy. And of course, you want to impress your team managers there in the team managers tower.
You know, it's funny you said that because one of the first things I heard when I came down onto the field and came to the track during press day was one of the riders talking to the Dirtworks crew saying, hey, can you fix the face on the finish line jump? It's pretty, like they were saying, it's not really very good for some reason.
It was rutted out, definitely.
So coming over this jump right here.
This section looks lovely. It's perfect. Over there is really wet.
Exactly.
We've got the right side of the track now.
Yep, we do. So simple finish line jump into a double, but the good thing about these kind of jumps is it allows, as you said, as they rut up or more options come here, great passing opportunities. You come into this big 180 bowl right here. And,
exactly.
Someone on the inside of you. As a rider, you know you want to sweep a little bit wider, but if you have someone right on your tail, there's a good passing opportunity right here. So we're going to see a lot of action here too.
This is going to be interesting, whether you go 3 out of the turn or you go 2, 3 inside at the end of the turn. It's interesting. Definitely going to be an interesting one to figure out what's going to be the best lines through this section also.
Well, I do like this track layout, the fact that there's 3 lanes here that have a lot of different options, and this was another one right here.
Yeah.
So we have 3 good ones. Lap times with this length of track in the 1887 range, I guess it was 46 to 48 maybe. I think the futures riders, the best future riders qualified right at 49. So we're going to see a 20-minute main and a 15-minute main. You're going to see a lot of lapping. A lot of lapping. So
that's going to be a lot of laps, and it's going to be tight and intense, and definitely going to be a lot of laps. Well, compared to last week in a that was such a big track, completely different.
And it's that's what's nice about Supercross. We go from the red clay of Atlanta Speedway here, and then we come to this track up in MetLife up in East Rutherford, New Jersey. So you have completely different dirt, totally different layouts. I mean, this track, 2 of these tracks is not even as long as the one Atlanta lap. So it's a big difference there, no question. So
talking about my little guy, my bike this weekend has got colouring and stuff over it from the graphics from some of the St. Jude Jude guys. And I was just looking at your T-shirt, and it's definitely cool.
St. Jude, love moto, stop cancer. This is a St. Jude race. Good call on that, Max. We have some. I met earlier a previous survivor of cancer, a young guy that went through St. Jude. He's doing great, healthy as can be. Says he runs cross country and everything's good. We're going to be doing lots of auctions. Riders' bikes have special graphics on it. Nothing like, there's nothing like promotion in New York City if you want to do a good promotion. And then we also have a lot of riding gear and things.
Our gear is completely different. Like we've got.
So the Supercross Live website, you're going to be able to auction on, bid on different riders' gears, maybe number plates, parts, whatever they have to raise money for St. Jude. So awesome thing. As we know, Ryan Dungey was very instrumental in starting the relationship with St. Jude. So thank you, Ryan Dungey. So and speaking of New York City, there's more than a rumor that the Empire State Building tonight is going to get lit up in monster, basically in the Supercross, World Supercross colors. So that's a blue, the logo is blue and kind of a monster green. So if you see any of the banners that show, let me see if I can zoom in on one here. I know there's one on the team manager's tower. But we have that right at the stairway there, if you can see that. So that blue, that Supercross blue mixed in with some monster green. The Empire State Building tonight is supposed to get lit up with those colors. So
that's pretty.
This is the 50th anniversary of the AMA Supercross Championship, and for me, having raced way back in 70s and 80s, I think the fact that I used to spend a lot of time explaining to people that you can actually make a living doing this activity to where we're lighting up the Empire State Building.
So that's the crazy thing about coming back to the Motocross Nations for me in 2017. It's like the British, UK fans and the way that it's just viewed. Supercross motocross is not viewed like it is in the States. In the States, it's one of the premier sports. You've got baseball, you've got football, you've got Supercross. People know the top Supercross guys, and it's bring your family out on a Saturday night and come and watch this race, and it's something really special, and something that I'm hoping that my career and me being from the UK can try to bridge that gap and just show that we are athletes. We're not just guys who just get on a bike and just pin it and just that's it.
The bike does all the work.
Exactly.
You're not an athlete because the bike does all the work. We've heard that.
And where I got to with like the Motocross Nations is I won the biggest race at home. Not saying that no one cared, but it just you didn't get the recognition that you really should have. Whereas the year after in 2018. The Motocross Nations in Holland, the king goes. The king of Holland goes. And it's like, oh wow, that's actually viewed. The Italians, they view Caroli as a hero, Jeffrey Hurlings as a hero. And that's what Supercross in the States for your Eli Tomacs, for your Ken Roxons, for the top guys here. That's why we want to come and race this, because it's all of our hard work. We are professional athletes. We eat clean. We do everything we possibly can to perform at the highest level. And it's actually reciprocated. It's shown in the States.
I
with
mean,
that.
we've had multiple athletes from Ryan Dungey to Eli Tomac
Exactly.
winning the Action Sports ESPN Awards, so finally getting the recognition that we all deserve. Max, I was there in 2017. That was truly a magical day for you. I know you were born in the area, so it had to be double magical for you. But for you to go 1-1 in the MXGP class, beating Tony Caroli, as you mentioned, beating Jeffrey Hurlings on the Rockstar Husqvarna, and I think you were number 19 that day, right?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Yeah.
I remember. It was truly a magical day, and riders do have those once in a while. Way back when, you think about the Marty Moats winning both motos at the U.S. Grand Prix at Carlsbad, and you know it was this one big giant race. You've had many moto wins, including you won in 2000 and during COVID, you won the second moto at the Loretta Lynn's National, not the Loretta Lynn's Amateur. I know you won the second moto, wasn't it?
Oh, I was leading it until literally one lap to go, and then I came together with a lapper, and Osborne got me.
Oh, okay.
I think
Did you not win one of
no,
those
I was third.
Okay,
I was leading it till right at the end.
All right.
I was close.
My memory failed me. Oh,
but it's one of those where everyone goes back to Matley Basin. That's at the time I'm like, yeah, it's good, but I'm gonna get more of these, and that's still my mindset. It's yes, I'm in this 250 class. I'm learning. I'm figuring it out, but. Man, I want more days like that. It's what you're always searching for. You're always going for, and that's it.
So then you transitioned. You went back and forth between here, and then you went to the GPs for a while, then came back, and then this last year you did the World Supercross Championship, winning the title in the 250 MX, or what they call SX2 class, right?
I was actually I was second, and I won some races, but
I gotta do a better
Shane
job.
McElrath, yes, because you had him on last week. That's why. Shane actually beat me last. It was their pilot season, but I'm coming in this year. I'm coming in this year strong. The team's good. The bike's good.
Right.
I'm learning. I'm taking all this knowledge from this, and I want to bring Breton home a World Supercross, a World Championship. Nice. I don't care where it is. I just want that medal. World champion in motocross or Supercross. I'll take whatever it is, and for sure I want to. I've been on the podium here now, and it's a dream come true, you know, in the States, getting on the podium. And for me, I want to just keep progressing and try and get back on the box again this weekend or next weekend, whatever.
We're coming around to the vinyl corner, as that's we tell our stories. But coming this right here, we jump off of that. A lot of riders were just hitting the single and jumping into the corner. You know, if you did the off rhythm and you landed all the way in the corners, I did watch a guy go off. So
I don't think many guys are going to hit the outside here.
Yeah, you don't want to go off. I did watch a rider go off.
I watched a lot of guys overjump this as well earlier.
So here, we come up here. Now this is, I always say, the broken record. It seems so far to me, but watch the guys do the triple here. It does seem so far if you turn around here, but it is just kind of a standard Supercross triple. Nice view for everybody in the stadium because it is in the end zone here. And as you head into the corner, we go after this one next corner, and then we'll hopefully not hit the deck walking down this wet.
Yeah, I'll follow you. I'll follow your lines.
Good luck, Derek, with the camera there. And so we do the triple into the final corner, and then we're back on the completed lap here at MetLife Stadium. Oh my goodness, I almost fell myself.
Nearly
it's
made
slippery
it.
out here. So this does complete a complete lap here, and
I'm in the mud now.
Now you're all muddy. Next week we come back and Nashville, Tennessee for an early schedule. We're actually doing, again, the track walk for riders and riders meeting, and everything's happening the night before. Because,
that'll be good.
Because Atlanta, they would have had a 6:30 track walk. Sunrise wasn't until after 7.
Exactly,
so
I know.
It was dark. And they would have done the same thing, and it's an hour earlier in Nashville. So we've got an early schedule next week for Supercross and everything. So we'll be shooting our track walk early on Friday night, and we'll be posting it that night so you get a preview of what the track's going to look like. So, Max, good luck. Thank you
very
so
much.
much for being our co-host.
No, I appreciate it. I love it, and we're going out and put on a good show this tomorrow night, I guess.
Yep, and pray for rain for you, because that's what you want. I understand.
I'm good either way. I want to be able to get on the podium or win a race either way, whether it's dry or with a bit of rain. But you know, I'm not opposed to a little bit of rain. It's all good fun.
All right. So thanks for tuning in, and next week we'll be bringing it from Nashville.
Cheers, guys.